Sounds good.
Hey there, this is Studio 586B. How y'all doing today? We're here with Zak G. I'm Matt. I mean, no, I'm Ross. Wow, come on,
I am having way too much
get it
fun over
together,
here.
buddy.
Oh my God,
Okay.
Zach. So I'm sitting here watching him. I usually do this part. And a lot of times I'll do the lead in. But the best was it was like, A, there's a camera watching us, and B, it was the most fish out of water thing you'd ever seen. And then when he said, I'm Matt,
No, it
I
just
couldn't
goes,
hold it in
yeah,
anymore.
it goes downhill from there. You know.
Zach G.
Yup.
Tell me something.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you find Mr. Zach G?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yes, we were actually having this conversation earlier because
Top lingerie model, right? No,
That's me.
that's
he
Zach
said,
G,
"That's
the
me.
laundry.
That's me." Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. You, Ross.
Yeah, I found him on Instagram. I was searching for producers, and I found one of his videos where you did a remix of Gloria Rayner's "I Will Survive," and I listened to it and I was like, this is just amazing. I have to speak to this person. I have to know who he is. So
We'll start with the first question.
let's start with the first question. Where are you from?
I'm from Syracuse, New York, upstate. I was born and raised here, and I moved down to Jersey City for a couple years. It was around COVID time, so COVID brought me back home. So here I am back home in my basement of my parents' house, created a little studio out here, and I've been working with artists, bringing them down to my parents' basement and just producing for them, engineering for them, recording, and also doing my own stuff. I got my album out called The Awakening Theory. That's all produced, engineered,
Wow.
recorded, all my home studio. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have my own place yet, but right now I'm residing out here in Syracuse, New York,
Making
and
it
that's
work,
what I'm doing.
huh?
Do you know what the B stands
Yeah,
for?
make it work.
Do you know what the B stands for in Studio 586B? We in the same
Basement?
basement,
Yup,
baby.
there you go. We in the
Basement.
basement.
It's a cool name for a studio, but it's an address, and the B part means downstairs.
The 586B. Okay, so if I look up 586 Ohio or something,
I see that won't get you nowhere. You'd have to know the street.
Yeah.
It's sneaky like that.
I like that.
So
you
that
should keep that private so you don't have random people showing up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
there
a
you
valid
go.
point. Valid point.
Yeah.
Been married for a few years. Used to dream of random people showing up. Not playing that game anymore.
I like that. I like that. Smart man. Smart man.
Now I'm going to take you back. So Syracuse, born and bred, orange through and through.
That's right.
When you look back to your earliest memories, like I have memories from 3 or 4 even of like, you know, really cool running around with the kids. Sandboxes bigger than the planet just because your legs were so short. When you look back, what are your earliest memories?
Wow. We had this like kiddie pool in the backyard, and I remember like swimming around in it and like thinking I was like, Mom, I can swim. But really it was like a foot of water and I was a foot and a half. So there was no way I couldn't swim in that. I don't know. I couldn't swim. But that's like probably the earliest memory I have, something like that. There's also this other memory that I probably shouldn't speak on, but I punched my sister in the face when I was like 5 or 6. And I remember her like she got a bloody nose from it, went upstairs, told on me. It was bad. Like I was like, wow, I didn't need to do that. Like I did it, and I was like, I'm just shocked that happened. I was like, no, don't tell Mom. I'm sorry.
You got the right
Oh,
punch
yeah,
in. Yeah, you
those
got
are-
that clean sweep on her nose that you'd never hit before. I'm telling you, that's the ultimate move in any fight. Once you learn how to clean sweep some dude's nose, that the reality is, unless there's somebody that's boxed, that's an explosion of pain between your eyes and blood everywhere. Very little damage, doesn't kill them. Don't try and slam it up into their brain. But if you're 5 or 6 and trying to take out your sister, sweeping the nose, far more powerful than
yeah.
sweeping the leg.
And here's the thing. I think we were just I think I was just roughhousing, like trying to have fun as a kid. It wasn't even I was mad at her trying to take her out. It was more like, yeah, like let's just box right now. I don't know what my little conniving, 7-year-old self was thinking. I don't really know what my age was.
I can't tell you.
But
I can't tell
Maybe it was
you
6.
how many times me and my best friends, like, one of us just threw their little brother a little too hard, and he just started crying, and all of us were like, "Yo, calm down,
no,
calm down,
calm,
calm down,
Calm down. No, everything's fine.
everything's fine."
Hear that ice
We
cream,
don't need
man?
to
I got
get
a buck
parents
on me, man.
involved.
Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Right?
I'll buy you off.
Ice cream, man. Just
Great
don't come
memories.
up.
I was the little brother. I was the little brother that hated watching NBA basketball because my brother's 5 years older than I am and loves basketball. And so every Saturday if my parents left, it'd be basketball. And the deal was, he'd look at me and be like, you could change the channel if you can beat me wrestling. And man,
I love it.
Man,
That's
I
such a-
tried. I don't think there ever came a moment before he moved out and it was no longer an issue.
Right.
I mean, no, I never got to. I hate basketball. It's the same reason I hate like overcooked peas. I love my mom. She's a vegetarian sometimes like me, but man, I hate peas. She always would serve peas and they were always overcooked. And Saturdays it was always basketball. I hate basketball and peas.
That's okay. Well, my mom's also a vegetarian, and I think the reason you don't like basketball is because you were trying to find your own identity back then. You don't want to be your brother. You want to be you. I've noticed that actually with my best friend and his younger brother. They're like my two best friends growing up, and they're polar opposite people. Still like, the same niceness, like get along, but they're complete opposites. Complete opposites. One lives out in Utah doing skiing and living in the middle of nowhere and being an outdoorsman. The other one lives in New York City working at Barclays Center doing ticketing for the Brooklyn Nets and all the entertainment.
You can get.
Extremes.
Yeah.
That's, what, it's interesting.
Extreme.
Today is actually, believe it or not, David Hayes' birthday. Today is my brother's birthday.
Oh, snap.
He is officially 56
Happy
today.
B-Day, bro.
I turned 51 on Sunday, and he turned 56 today. But it's funny that you said what you said, because I specifically wrote him a note on Facebook today about the idea that even though it was, at first I felt it was hard to grow up in his shade, I eventually realized, I look up to him. He's my big brother. That I've come to terms with the idea that what that always was that I idolized him, and things that he did seemed beyond me. Because they were technically. He was 5 years older than I was. It was like I avoided drawing, really drawing again until I was almost 50. And it was like, it was a realization that I'd always measured myself against him as equals. And so I hadn't given myself the value of, he's been working on that for 5 years more than I have.
So tell me, how do you work?
Zachary George, how does Zachary G work?
Yeah.
Well, that's a loaded question, man. I mean, I work in my studio. I produce these hot beats, and I get out here and just do my thing. But it's the process is so sporadic. I think of it like there's a wall, and I'm just throwing paint cans at it, and it's just abstract, and you're a lot of struggle in it. There's a lot of, fighting myself and doubting myself. But then once I get to the end product, somehow it sounds just like I envisioned it in the beginning. And it's this weird road. I have to go from, going off-road and being like, this sucks, this is bumpy, and all of a sudden I found myself a shortcut or something. That's kind of the analogy I can think of in my head right now.
I was listening to your music, and the best description I could come up with was like conscious pop. Like it was really, really dope. It was like a conscious rap, but it was poppy a little bit, and I liked it. It was really nice. It was a nice blend,
I appreciate that. The way I actually define my music would be experimental pop or alternative hip hop. The only reason I don't like conscious is conscious kind of gets a bad rap in this day and age because it's like, preach. Like I don't want to be preachy.
You
know what I mean?
I want to be at all.
Okay, I appreciate that. I think in my head, in my head, what conscious rap is just like, I don't know, like trying to be this figure of force of good. I'm trying to like take the good, the bad, and everything that goes along with it. Like dark songs,
Mm.
songs that are songs that are good, but like balancing both. I want to give reality rather than just like I'm the savior of everybody kind of
Well,
thing. You know?
the light and dark and the negative space.
The reality raps.
It's so funny that oddly, I happen to know a young artist in the studio that's been working on an album called Bipolar, where he wants to do positive and negative, and
Yeah.
that's Ross's. That there's an interest. I think we're all, I think we all feel some of that.
I think to ignore the duality of like life and the way that things are in the world is, it feels wrong. So it feels wrong to not have the good side and the bad side. Like I totally get what you're saying about like you need to mix it together. It needs to blend.
I suggest.
Yep. The good, the
Go ahead.
for me, it's like the good, the bad, the reality, and the fantasy. So it's not just reality raps. To me, it's like
Mm.
sometimes I'm imagining this scenario. Like there's my song "Why," where I'm imagining I'm at the bar and I'm trying to talk to this girl, and she thinks she's better than me. But in my head, I think there's no girl out of my league, and I'm like, I don't see the boundaries that she's trying to place on me, and I kind of like acting out in a way. So
Okay.
there's like
So it's like a
some of
thought
these songs,
experiment.
like yeah, it's like it's cinematic, but then other songs like are based on real life events. Especially, I have some unreleased songs that like I can think of like right now, but I can't really speak on because they're not out. But
Right.
yeah, so I like to have reality. I like to play in the middle where you don't know if this is an actual event that occurred or if it's just a made up fun story, and I like that just that middle ground of like it just makes it more entertaining for myself, and really I make music for me to grow as an individual and just have to become more creative. I want to be the creative mastermind at the end of the day.
I totally understand that.
It's so funny. We
Yeah.
were joking the other day. Okay, so I'm often found offensive because I'm known to dance back and forth across the lines of life. That's why we have a show called Where's the Line, for instance. Um, but what I was trying to
Love it.
explain to Ross was no, reality happens in the DMZ. And he was like, no, no, and I said, no, Chappelle. And then we started going through the list that that the real conversations are at the place where, right, it's all coming together.
Right.
And you're bringing the questions up that make people go, well, okay. You know, it's where the real discourse happens. If I'm relating sort of to what you're saying, I guess I'm just feeling that feel of, yeah, A, don't define me. B, it's not just one thing, it's a symphony. That you have a lot to the way you see the world. So when you set it down, how do you play?
Was that when you set it down? How do you play?
Yeah. So we asked, how do you work? Now, I will say this. There's almost a Rorschach test style to the questions themselves. Take them how you will. Play with them however you want.
Yeah.
So that when you think, how do you play?
I like it's so general. How do I play? I'm someone probably. I'm a high energy individual. I mean, man, I delved from like being a nerd and playing video games, Pokemon, but then on the other side of things, you know, I'll go out here and party with the boys,
Right.
and
Right.
you know, so I'm also a big Tennessee Titans fan, football.
Okay.
You know, so I'm like you know what I mean? Like I'm like this jock nerd. Again, I hate labels because I feel like I'm, and especially in this culture where everything's just a hodgepodge of shit.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, you're perfect.
there, but
no, you don't
No,
have to.
you're good.
You're fine.
You're good.
That
yeah, no, that's what I think is that I just
well, I think
anything and everything, man.
I think
don't
that's
know.
what we all are. That if we take off our masks, the cool thing about all of us, because we're all busy, how to be the right person in the right place. We got a bunch of masks in the room because we talk about it constantly. We're all looking to be seen as who we really are. Don't smack some label on me. Don't make me this. Don't make me that. None of those things are true of any person. No person is defined as a you are this.
You are this, you are that.
What we find over and
Well, you
over
know what?
again. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I like when people label me, and I think it's because of the way that I frame it. Because if anybody says you're this or you're that, I just something in my mind wants to prove them wrong and set them wrong. I kind of have this Michael Jordan sense about
You
me.
sexy
where I'm
bastard.
Like, oh, I'm just like, you think that I'm just this?
Prove me wrong.
Well, that's the thing. Dude, I'm like, I just get like a certain like fire in me. I'm like, I'm not. I know I'm not that. I know I'm not just that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I'm not, then I need to prove it, right? Okay. Well, then how do I prove it? And so I think that's kind of what, like, even music, like if we're talking about that, we have been, raps, right? It started with just raps, and then it was like, oh, but I also want to sing. And then it was like, I want to know how to like structure a song and make a full song rather than just verses. Then it was like, I want to produce my own stuff. Then it was like, I want to engineer. And then I'm creating, recording, doing everything under the sun because I didn't want to just be the guy who comes in, doesn't know anything about the studio. I wanted to know it all.
You just described,
because I was like, when they said, you're just this. No, I'm not. You know what I mean?
You just described how like my evolution happened. Pretty much, I kept adding things to what I wanted to do. I kept adding things almost to my arsenal.
The point where I put him underwater was I found this pastor on the other side of town on Craigslist that was selling a 20-channel board for $105. And so I went and I got us this 20-channel board. And it's got lots of knobs and buttons. But the reality is, as much as we love doing what we're doing, we're way in over our head.
Dude, I'm still
that you have
learning
to.
things
That's
about
that's
this
the most
every
beautiful
day.
place to learn to swim. You know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you're over your head, it's the best place to be because you're the only option you have is to learn what's going on, and you're going to be like, you could have got simple, equipment. You would have been able to figure it out and do it. But, like, this is what makes you ultimately a professional. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of being over your head is now you need to be creative and really figure it out because you're put in a place of, like, you have to.
Yeah,
right.
You have to learn.
You have created a situation that is pushing you forward. It's interesting as we were talking about how do we play, that it's the reality. That part of it is if you decide I'm something, I there's a point in, I don't want to call it my first book. That sounds egotistical. It's not like anybody's bought it. There's a book I wrote. Nobody's read it. Don't worry. What I was talking about was you start going through the labels people put on you. That even as men, women look at us and tell us we're magic. I don't know. Have you guys ever had a woman play the heart song "Magic Man" for you?
No, but I've had women use those words.
But you know what? Or you're the guy that has the stuff to smoke, or you're the guy that
They build up an expectation of you that's like, I can't keep chasing after that.
Well, that we're more than that. That's what's cool.
It's people like to be in boxes, even if that box is I'm outside the box.
Yeah,
people like to be in boxes. It's just better that way. I don't know. So maybe we need to break out of that.
How do you get grounded? What's your concept and how do you pray? For me, it's meditation, different. But go ahead, speak.
I love that question, man. I mean, listen, for me, it's in the morning. I'm like, I get my tea, I go downstairs, and I have this list of affirmations that I have on my phone that are just reminders to me of who I need to be and the things I need to stay away from that are ultimately going to keep me focused, keep me on my divine purpose that I really believe is divine. That was, these strengths that I was given.
Yeah.
Again, and to be honest, ego aside, I feel like anybody has any strength that they want to develop. And I think anybody can do what I do. It's just a matter of setting your mind to it. And that's why, you talking about how do you pray or meditate or affirm yourself. I think those things are so, so crucial to get to knowing not only, the spiritual, but yourself, and understanding this is who I need to be, and keep reaffirming that, and keep yourself on the path. Because at the end of the day, this whole game is reminding ourselves we can't be bigger than, we had this epiphany moment. Cool, it was a moment. You have to keep doing it, keep reaffirming it, keep going, because you're going to think you have it figured out, and the moment you think you have it figured out, you're going to slip.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
The way I used to relate that was, so I've got a 9-year-old grandson that lives with me, but he loves to rock climb, and so we've been to the gyms and stuff, and what we talk about is you have to find, you can be looking for a path up a wall, and if you don't look all the way up it, you can end up at a place that you think's your destination, but has no ability to go any higher.
Yeah, if you don't plan out.
Do you follow me? So like you have to be looking for, you have to find your path before you go, or you'll climb a way that requires you to climb back, or to try,
right.
or maybe there's just no way to go higher because that's the route you picked. So it's good.
Yeah, you got to be. You got to be very cognizant, because if you're not being the creator of your reality and being purposeful, you have to be intentional. You have to really focus down. What is the house I want? What are, the songs I want to make? Who is the woman of my dreams? How many kids are we having? Are we living lavishly? Are we living more, focused and intentional with money? Like there's so many different things that can happen if you're not really honing in on what you're trying to create. So.
I let the universe guide me to a great extent. I will say this: a lot of where we are at now has been very much a plan without a plan. A show about not putting on a show. Everything I claim is about me trying not to try. I've literally labeled everything we do as, and what I'm going to do today is not try. But no, the idea of bringing ourselves literally, consistently, and being open to the idea that we're co-creators with the universe.
The hardest part about knowing who you are and knowing who you want to be is actually making that happen. Like it's you. Okay, so you have to not look down. You can't look directly down because then you won't see where you're going, and you can't just not walk.
Fantasizing is catastrophizing with extra steps, but doing moves you forward.
Yep, there you go.
Wow, that was a quote and a half.
Right?
I'm going to have to write that down.
That's one we throw around every once in a while.
They're known as Matt-isms. I actually occasionally have people like text me and go, I haven't heard any Matt-isms in a while. Can you say something?
I love that.
All I am, though, is a mirror. It was, I really don't, I always look at people and go, no, everything I ever said was stolen. All I can do is reflect back to people around me. That what I love is hearing people's, I don't trust my perspective. When I realize that part of the reality is that the thing you use most to judge what you think of as real will lie to you to try and prevent your brain having cognitive dissonance. That your brain is willing to create pasts that never happened. That it's willing to change your entire what you notice in a room.
Have you ever had a conversation with someone about a memory and they remember it completely differently?
So yeah, my sister every morning brings up something about, this happened in our childhood. I'm like, no, it didn't. Shut up. That happens all the
time. That's what that is. There you go.
Well, and so I became obsessed with the idea of seeing through everybody else's eyes. That what if, have you ever heard the old African proverb about the three blind mice? The ones that get to keep their tails. The ones that come up to the elephant and one describes, it's a lion or something because of the tail, and one thinks it's a tree, and the other one thinks it's a snake. They're all describing their reality. But there's still an elephant in the room.
We all have different perceptions.
Right, and what if by seeing through all of them and just loving the fact we all have those different perspectives, we could actually see the elephant.
So, what do you love?
What do you love, brother?
What do I love?
Yeah.
Music, man. I love love. I love music. I love. I just love. You know, honestly, that's such a tough question, man. You guys are philosophical as all living things. I don't really know, man. But yeah, I would say I love. I just love music, man. I
Love,
love being in.
love me
You
do.
know,
You
and the reason
know
I love
I
it.
love you. Go
There you
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the reason is because of kind of all the things we're saying. The things that
Mm,
music offers for me is that affirmation, and it's the one thing that always drives me for growth and being a better man. You know, and I know that this is it's bigger than a paycheck. It's bigger than even though I gotta. We live in a capitalistic society,
oh, ain't it the truth?
I will
and,
say.
and so I
Oh,
yeah.
Go
sorry.
ahead.
You go. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying this that of what it means to me of growth and in my whole entire being is there's a reason I'm doing this and a
Mm,
message I have to say or even not say just like with instruments. Maybe it's through
yeah.
other means as well.
Mm,
You
Yeah, that's also what I'm saying
you have to share your story.
with
for
I.
sure.
Yeah, it's so funny that time and time again, a lot of this I think, and as I get deeper into my own therapizing of myself, that this desire to see other people, to understand them, and actually connect with them in a way that's where you get a view from them, um, is partially based on obviously my desire to feel understood and seen, to feel like, right, like you know what, this is my passion and my mission. And I what I've found over and over again is, yeah, musicians, artists, what I love most about them is they bring their stories because they're right out there. They're already showing them to me. You know that. Go ahead, Ross. I'm sorry. I'm
No, I.
gushing.
It's okay. It's okay. When you said you love music, literally, music is what makes me love everything else in the world. Like
Exactly.
it unlocked like this ability to care about other people that I didn't have for a good amount of time. Like
Oh wow.
I was in a deep depression, and music really brought me out of that. It made me able to like care about people and to actually have access to that. You know, like
Yeah, because
music does something, man.
you know what it is? It's the ultimate form of expression because you're gonna say things in music that you would never tell. It's so spiritual in that sense. Like, okay, in a church, you go to a priest for confession. I feel
Right.
like that's a lot, and and so in music, you're going to your production to say something, and you're gonna confess something, but you're gonna do it cryptically. That sometimes you might only really understand, and you do that on purpose because
Mm,
you know
Oh,
maybe you
amen.
don't want this, but you can still vent it out and it allows you to
yeah.
understand it and grow past certain limitations and traumas that you might have had on yourself, either put on yourself by you or other people.
I remember I suggested somebody change a line, and they were like, "Nah, I need that in there." And I was like, "I understand. I
Yeah,
totally
we
understand what you're
literally had
saying.
that
Like
conversation
I
yesterday.
completely get it. Because sometimes I find certain lines will hit me in a different way,
mm,
specifically, where I'm like, okay, I need I need to keep this in here. Whatever I just said, I need to keep that in there because it keeps me together. It's really telling my story. That just that one
do you know
line
what
or
just hit
those
me?
couple lines, you know?
To know the secrets of Miles Davis's horn.
What?
He's it's all communication. He's talking.
Right.
That's all words. Miles knew exactly what every one of those notes meant in those songs.
Mm.
Just
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
ooh, I just got chills, man. I love listening to Miles Davis. Sorry, but yeah,
That's me with Kenny G, baby.
nobody's home.
Nobody's home.
Go ahead. Yes, I'm gonna admit something on the air. Listening to Kenny G is freaking amazing. There was a while that he was
I don't
hated for pop jazz, but no, it's amazing stuff.
I don't listen. I don't care what people think. I love Kenny G, and everybody else can screw off.
Yeah,
I
there
said
you
it.
go.
Well, the one that used to get me is there's a Clapton soundtrack where it's almost all of Clapton's stuff acoustic. I think the only one that isn't acoustic is like Tears in Heaven or whatever, the really, really super sad one about his kid jumping out of the apartment building. That's awful. It's horrible. I mean, it's a beautiful song, but
Yeah,
very.
I got you.
But I used to love to put it on because it was like having jazz on. There was something about the way, and it doesn't matter what the instrument is. There's some artists you can just, whether it's your voice, whether it's a horn, whether it's drums. I think of Iggy Garcia, our buddy that's the shaman. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man, he can put some words into those sounds.
Music talks.
And as much as he's crazy, you can love him, you can hate him. Kanye West in the song Runaway, when he takes his voice, distorts it like a guitar, and just does some hums, and it's speaking.
I totally agree. I feel like Kanye's greatest downfall is work with people, don't surround yourself with yes men. Because when he's on, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
And when you
spectacular.
can tell it was a bunch of people pasted together on a beat, you can tell that too. That, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm not beating up. The reality is, it was so funny. When Donda first came out, we were just getting going. And so we sat here on a mission. We had to listen to the whole thing. We had to listen to it from cover to cover. We had to listen multiple times about his watch. You know what? That was my comment at the end of the damn thing. I was like, really?
What really happened is we sat down and listened to Donda, and now it's a love-hate relationship.
It is.
what it is.
I got to the end of it. I was like, you know what? We really have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And why the hell didn't he work harder on this?
Wow. So you think you're a Donda hater?
No. I think there's amazing stuff on Donda, but I think there are parts of it where Kanye didn't bring his best Kanye. There are parts where it was because of the timing and because of the Kim K stuff and because of all that it would have been right to say my life's a mess. I'm pushing it a year because I want it to be perfect and my head's in a different place now.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean,
because he was short on money.
People. I don't want to.
I mean, Kendrick waited 5 years, and people were some people were hating on him, and I didn't get it.
And did he care?
I don't think he cared at all. That's the
He
good
didn't
part.
care, but you know why he didn't care? Because he didn't make this album for the world. He made it for himself.
There you go.
Truth bomb that opens the whole thing
up. When you're
up.
making it for yourself, you can't care. You can't care about the timing or you have to get out what you got to get out.
It just has to be.
It has to be.
And you know what? For the record, that like straight truth bombed me between Kendrick and Kanye and why I feel the way I do. Because it's not a disrespect. I don't mean I don't like Kenny West. God, I love calling him Kenny West. Have you ever watched Cleveland Brown?
I've not.
Okay, Cleveland Brown has a character named Kenny West.
That is voiced by.
No, it isn't actually voiced by him, but it's they play it pretty hard. It's the best is when he gets the job at the. It's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, but it's a hip hop version of Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
And there's a Suge Knight on a balcony just shaking Vanilla Ice over and over again.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I digress. I live tangentially to the rest of the world.
What do you fear?
I love it. Sometimes I fear myself.
Ooh.
I fear.
That's real.
Yeah. I fear. I just sometimes. I mean, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Sometimes I just fear, and I can kind of get myself in a loop of stuff, and that's why I think my affirmation is so important to keep myself out of that.
When the gears grind.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm OCD, and I think that it comes out in my work in the sense of like the obsessiveness, but like I pick at my fingers, and I'm always just like I have this nervousness about me, and that's again what grounds me is music. So again, I fear that side of me of just if I didn't have music, what I
Where it
would
would go.
be, and if I
That's
didn't have that expression.
that's wild
So
because
I do
I
fear
talk
myself.
about anxiety keeping me humble. You're talking about, hey, but my fear reminds me to keep. That's
Hmm.
powerful, brother. It's how do I turn the pain into a fuel?
Yeah, that's it, really, man.
How do
It's
you
you know, the
go
thing with
ahead?
OCD is like it's energy. It's like to me, anxiety is energy. It's me having all this pent up energy, and if I don't know what to do with it, I feel anxious. But if I say, "Nah, I'm gonna get up, get out of bed, work on some," and like I can move mountains because I have so much energy. Some people don't
Mm,
have that amount of energy in their soul. Like to me, that's what it is, and we can look at it as the glass half empty of like I have this issue, or the glass half full of this is my superpower, and let me if I channel this energy in the correct way, I can take over.
Dude,
You know,
I,
so
I,
that's
I, I shit you not. You are speaking Matt's words. That's so crazy. Cause you said superpower, and me and him both looked at each other and laughed. Cause like,
is my favorite part of this, and we've done almost 30 of these now. Is at some point in every set of people answering these 10 questions, I get a shit-eating grin on my face and look at Ross, and he knows I know
hey,
somebody's given my speech.
well, you know what? It's because Matt, like you said, you're a mirror to the world. You already said it,
You
so that's
know,
that's probably why it's happening.
it's this
You know,
amazing thing. It's over and over again, and I'm going to tell you that it isn't like I could. You're talking about a great plan, and I love a great plan, and my plan just keeps sort of falling into place in my head fast enough that there's a brick in front of me.
if I didn't have this overwhelming anxiety, I wouldn't be able to work on the things that I work on.
Mm.
I don't think that I would be able to do the things that I do if I didn't have anxiety that kept me up at night, that kept my gears grinding on things even when I didn't want it to.
Feature versus fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a choice about where you focus. I urge everybody to look into Temple Grandin, who speaks a lot about neurodiversity. She's no longer a young lady, so I won't call her a young lady. But Temple Grandin is a woman with autism. She revolutionized the humane treatment of cattle um, because of the perspective she had from being autistic. She also, I mean, they've done IQ tests where they
wow.
rate her as a genius and all of that stuff. But what she talks about is, and I believe this wholeheartedly, I think this is the part of us that is most like a virus. That the reason our brains are all a little different, the reason our meat shells are not quite the same, our juicy little bag of chemicals with just enough Thor thrown in. Some of us, the chemicals are a little off. Some of us, like Zach was saying, got a little bit of a little extra Thor. That, but
Hmm.
it's how you make keys for every lock.
Right.
It's evolutionary. We're trying to beat out the most valuable portion of the species. That the
Hmm.
reality is this joyous, everyone's a little bit different.
Right.
This everybody has a different perspective. This no two brains are made exactly the same. Everybody run around a little different meat suit, whatever.
Right.
This is how you could, if I were going to build a self-replicating carbon-based quantum computer system, look at us. We can solve anything.
If we put our minds to it.
Minds, plural.
Plural. And that's what we're doing right here.
Right? Isn't it beautiful?
Right.
What it really all boils down to is I am literally overwhelmed with gratitude every day for what we do. I just am. I get to talk to guys like you. I get to hear your story.
And it's just the process, man. And if you trust the process and just enjoy the moment that we have, that's this existing moment that never ends. I mean, good things happen, man. Good things happen.
It's good to
So
be
I
here.
think that's the only good headspace to be in. And I want to say this. I don't know why, but power is good and bad. We have the power to create and to destroy, especially when you have all this high energy. Like that's my power, right?
Yep.
So and that's why I want to label it high energy and not anxiety, because
Mm.
when Ross was saying like I have this anxiety and that's why I'm able to create. No, you have this energy. You have this energy that
I like
people
that.
don't have.
I like that. Yeah.
So don't label it as anxiety, because that's
Well-
the negative connotation version of it. Label it as high. You're like, no, I just have energy. There's something I need to say. There's something I need to do right now.
Oh, that's okay.
You know what I'm
so,
saying? Rather than I have this problem. We want to label everything as a problem. We want to get medicated. We want to figure.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
I want to take you to Kenya now.
This reminds.
I want to tell
Yeah.
you. I want
You-
Ross
you
to
can
tell.
do it.
No, you do
Okay,
it because I'll
I'll do
forget
it.
it.
I'll
But
do
we
it.
have a buddy named Anthem Republic. Look him up. Q on Republic because it's
I
French.
can send it to you. Yeah.
But oh my God, the music. And
It's-
now remind me of what.
So he said he had said something to the effect of, when we call a challenge a problem, it becomes bad. It's only when we call a challenge a problem that it's actually a problem. It's a problem because you've made it a problem. It's not a challenge. It's not fun anymore. It's not a challenge. You've made it. You've attached so much to it.
Isn't that amazing? Like, do you see what I mean though? Over
Words-
and over again.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I completely
Words
butchered
are
it, but
powerful.
it's words are really, really powerful.
And that's
And
go ahead.
I mean, another example of that is, I'm nervous. No, you're excited, and that's excitement.
If you really pay
That's
attention,
how-
nerves are the same as excitement. You just have to feel it differently.
That is how I got over going live in front of people, because at first I was nervous, and I said,
Right.
no, I'm pumped up, I'm ready to go, like just jumping around, like go, don't stand there and just bottle it in, like be present, like allow yourself to just be you, like
Enjoy the power.
that's
Enjoy the
excitement.
moment.
Yeah, you're changing the narrative of what the energy is, and when you do that, again, we have the power in us to create or destroy. Nervousness destroys, where excitement creates. And like you said, with your example, it's the same. We can come up with many of them, but that's
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
we can move mountains in positive ways and negative ways. So.
Mountains are easier to move if you make them molehills.
Make mountains molehills.
Make your mountains molehills.
Maybe ism.
It's the ism.
Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant.
So, tell us what
I hope.
High apple pie in the sky. Hopes. But those are part of who we are. Like, access those bits that remind you about ants moving rubber tree plants. Little engines that could, that don't play with those engines that weren't going to take those toys over that damn mountain. They weren't good enough anyways. Don't like them. What do you feel like though? I feel like we're halfway down that road. It feels like a lot of this is the pieces you feel like you've figured out.
Mm-hmm.
That it becomes so meaningful as we move along that it ends up it's not facts I'm attached to. It's my openness to seeing more over and over again, if that makes sense. Like I just keep trying to be more aware of the possibility, because in that somehow I keep finding more possibilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What
You gotta remain open and allow more to come in. I think it's just being a vessel and not being a victim, and that's the bet. You gotta keep your as much as humanly possible, right?
Well, you're human.
Because we're human, we're imperfect, we're not gods. Like that Kanye thing, that song "I Am a God." We're not, and we will someday die, So
I will say I like to say that we're not gods, but everybody has a little bit of God in them.
I like to say it's all or none.
Yeah,
it's all or
we're
none.
little mini. We're mini creators. We have the free will to totally shape and mold who we want to be and where we want to go in life. I truly believe that we have, no matter what your circumstance, you can make and some people have harder paths than others. I'm not gonna say that that's not true, but anything is possible.
Yeah.
I think that's a Disney song.
Anything is possible. No, it's
Oh, that's Legos.
anything is
Isn't
awesome.
it Legos?
No, that's a different.
Everything
It's
is
everything is
awesome.
awesome. Not anything.
And that works too.
It's
It'll be
close.
fine.
It's close.
What do you wish you knew,
That's-
Zach?
Going back to your favorite sport, NBA basketball. That's Kevin Garnett screaming when they won those finals back in '08.
I know exactly which clip you're talking about. I know exactly which one.
Just torture me with my
That-
brother's
honestly-
basketball. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just fine. Hit me over the head with the
Turkey
ball.
with
He did.
Basketball references. Yeah. Let's get them.
Oh my God. I believe
No,
that
I'm
the
just
richest and ripest meditation in the world, and I have a little lady in Vietnam that reminds me twice a month that meditation is non-distraction. And I don't know how all of a sudden she was from India, and I want to apologize to everybody for whatever just happened and me I wasn't trying to avoid from. I wasn't though. That's
whatever
just how it
happened,
came
man.
out.
It's
But anyways,
okay. It's okay.
meditation is non-distraction. And that I argue that the best meditation on the face of the planet is the unexpected belly laugh. The laugh that overcomes you, consumes your body, allows you no focus, and is just the richest moment in existence. Followed by the sneeze.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if there's anything that's a freaking energy burst, it's a really hard laugh. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
It's-
it lifts your spirits up.
I think it's a powerful shared experience. I
think
think
it
there's
is.
something when like a room.
Just laughs. Yeah.
Or an orgasm, you know. But-
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that. You know what?
Something
I concur,
for
doctor.
that.
Doctor, I concur. Orgasm's good for you. Yep. Oh, yep. You concur, doctor?
I concur, doctor. What do you wish you knew?
I wish I knew the Arabic language. I'm half Lebanese, so I'm actually doing something to do that. I'm doing Duolingo, where I'm like learning how to write it, or read it, I should say. I'm not writing it per se, and then also speak it. I just think it's a cool language, and generations of my family came over here, like my great grandparents. I'm pretty Americanized, but I wish I was closer to my culture in that way, and speaking in that tongue is.
I have a group that I think remind me.
I can totally relate, 100%.
Oh,
I'm quarter Guyanese. My family's from the Caribbean, and it kills me that I'm not close. It kills me that I'm not that close to the culture, because I wish I had a little bit more of that growing up. I mean, I'm very grateful for what I did grow up with and how I did grow up, but I've always wished that I could be closer to my roots.
See,
You know,
here's the problem. I'm a quarter Viking, and due to the whole Me Too movement, rape classes aren't available, and neither are pillaging. So raping and pillaging is no longer even like stuff they'll offer us.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
But what I
get out of
was
that.
thinking was, I was thinking about Sam. I was thinking about my buddy Thayer.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking about, okay, so Sam smokes. It's Tobacco Land, down behind the corner of Agler and Stigler. We call them our sponsors because we love them dearly and they love us dearly, not because there's any money changing hands. I will say this, they have great CBD products, and it's been great for our varieties of anxiety or energy along the way as we've needed it. But I happen to be in a group where I work with a bunch of people that work with large groups of people that were brought in from those parts of the world. In Canada and in the United States.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because I think that's powerful. I think there's something about knowing where we're from that I don't want to lose our shared experience. That I think I'm not to say that some homogenization isn't good. I used to say, let's just keep effing until we're all gray so we can get along. But just as a way to solve things. Hey, what if we all just keep screwing until we're one color? Would that just solve everybody's issues? But
Maybe.
the problem is there's also, my claim is that's the almond-shaped aliens that they've got like the real
Have you
anyway.
ever, never mind. As you can tell, we get a little distracted. It's
Yeah,
okay.
clearly.
It's okay.
Kidding.
Well, one of the joys is it's a real conversation that we ask things that we listen. Our goal is to be here and be present with the people we're talking to, and as opposed to going, hey, let's think about a lot about what we're going to ask. We want to put our energy into the listening and what comes about, the discourse, the part that is the amazing exploration of this universe we find ourselves in with such amazing people who see it from just slightly different angles. And it makes the stars glitter even more.
Pretty words.
I know, right?
Pretty
God,
words.
we're hoping to make a living off that, aren't we, bud?
I think so.
You need to write, Matt. You need to write a You write poetry or what?
I do. I'm surrounded by notebooks. It's
Love
funny. What's out now
Good.
is a journal, and so there's a lot of those kinds of writings. There's also reviews of really good movies that were meaningful to me. Like, I find all art a pathway. All art, I find there's wisdom in every moment that I'm here. That we joke about Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day. I didn't have to
Yeah.
use my AK. But
Love it. It's a great song.
well, my goal is to use my AK every day. My ambient knowledge, the stuff that's flowing in all the time, that unless you're here and present in it,
You miss
you
it.
miss it.
Yeah.
You know? I might not have gotten
Yeah.
to talk to you, for instance. And that would suck.
Yeah. I mean, the universe has a funny way of moving, man. You know,
And that's the
and
fun.
it's funny
Gotta
how
laugh. Go ahead.
it's like the internet. For all the problems that it brings, like I would have never been connected with you guys, so that's pretty cool. We just had like a super philosophical, in-depth conversation off of like the most general questions you could ever ask on the earth.
Pretty much.
What do you love? Yeah, I see I see now why you do it.
Isn't it amazing? Over and over again. You feel that, don't you? I'm not like trying to make something up. You feel it. You feel like we're connected. Like there's a real thing going on.
I feel it, and actually the intro track to my album, The Awakening Theory, is called You Feel It. So there you go.
God, I love it. Now, it's rumored that the last question is the hardest.
The last question is definitely the hardest.
It's supposed to be like hot wings. Like, and supposedly the questions get hotter as you go.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Yeah, but they're not paying you for promo. Don't say that.
Oh, I love that. I'll promo anything I love. Hot wings, hot wings, hot wings. Just because I love it.
Hot one.
I swear
Hot
he's,
one. See, I won't
swear
even call
he's
it
a
the
money,
right
he's a
thing.
money sink. Anyways, why are you here?
Why what?
Why are you here?
I'm here to talk some shit, man. I'm here to let them know. I'm here to let them know Zak G is that guy. And Zak G will be that. To get all like Kanye West on it. But I'm no, man, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I'm not Drake either. I'm
There we go.
I think I'm here to make people smile. I'm here to make people understand themselves more. I'm here to have fun, and I'm here to make music.
There you go.
There you go. Let's all plant seeds that for trees of shade we'll never know. Just keep the stuff for me. I've reached 51 now. 51. Anyways.
The big number.
But the idea for me lately has been, I don't care if I'm here for it. Like the studio concept is very much, how do you create a space? And you started off today talking to us about it. How do you make it so your basement has that stuff that people play with, that they get to be heard? Whether it's talking to them about questions like this, whether it's seeing them in their music, their stories, however, anybody record, make us real people. That you were talking about the idea, and what always hits me is almost a week ago, maybe a week ago, we were talking to Reggie Reg of Crash Crew. So Reggie Reg was one of the original guys on vinyl and hip hop. And that the stories end up the same over and over again. That I lost my head. That Reggie's ability to communicate started with the fact that Mike and Dave were in the same apartment building, the same tenement in New York, okay, down in Harlem. And what they had was a bunch of music equipment. And what they did was they let everybody play with it. And that's how hip hop got born. We need to go back to the basements, back to the crews, not posses, not yes men surrounding people, but brothers and sisters and family lifting each other up meaningfully. Not how much is it for the next feature, but wow, I heard what you're doing. Let's make something together. Let's create something out of nothing that shows people our stories. And that's
Well
what
said.
that's the dream for the studio. Shoot, my dad died at 54. I could be out of here in about 3 years. I ain't doing it for me.
Well,
Yeah. No.
I don't know what to say after that. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This has been amazing. This has been like a really fun time of just getting to know you and just learning more about you through this. Do you have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Hey, man. If there's anything anybody can do to support me, The Awakening Theory, out now, all streaming platforms. I got it on vinyl pressed, so I just ordered a couple more that I will sign, and also you can buy them not unsigned for a little cheaper. They're a little bit expensive.
Vinyl.
But,
that's beautiful, brother.
But it's about the journey.
I got the vinyl on my wall framed, so it's just a reminder to me that I'm really trying to do this. I'm not playing around with CDs, okay?
Right.
I'm vinyl.
I'm pressing wax,
vinyl,
baby.
There you go.
You get what I'm saying. But
I do.
So yeah, Theory out now on wherever music is streamed, as well as on vinyl. You can buy it, and where you can find any of this is through my socials, man. I say Instagram, TikTok, anything. All of them are branded the same way. I am Zak G. IAMZAKG. And then when I say Zak G, ZAK, no CK, no CH, ZAK.
No Calvin Klein.
No Calvin.
Nothing comes between
No
you and your
Calvin
K.
That's yeah. No I love that. No CK, baby. But you know what? Calvin Klein, if you want me to be an underwear model at some point,
I'll put the C back
I'll
in.
put
work
the
on my
C back
bottom,
in.
I'll put the C in your CKs. Oh, that's just wrong. No.
All right. I think that's where I leave. I'm just kidding.
Dude,
thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Hang out on the line.
Hang on the
real
phone.
quick.
I'm gonna get us off live real quick.
All right.
Not that
Sounds good. I appreciate you.
I totally. Oh my god. This is the part where I wait for Facebook to catch up.